Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2024 Netflix original show, Season 6, Book 6 stars, Dragon Prince, Mystery of Aravos, 9 episodes long. I haven't seen Dragon Prince in a while. I wanted to wait till the final season came out to then watch Season 6 and Season 7, Book 6, Book 7, because I knew I would be missing this a lot. This is a fantastic show. Absolutely incredible writing, incredible character development, incredible animation, incredible score. It's from some of the producers and writers from Avatar: The Last Airbender, so it's very close to home, kind of a thing. And with in regards to keeping the story going, there's a lot of stuff that is happening. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in regards to the land. You know, Callum and Rhea are off trying to figure out what to do with the pearl that is housing Aravos. So they have the decoy. Do they give it to the Star Elves to hide it? That way nobody can mess with it. But what happens when they inadvertently take the decoy instead of the real one? Is Callum becoming more of the dark magic? On the other side, you have Soren as the Kingsguard trying to protect Callus, and it's what happens when a dragon is healed by Queen Sarai's brother, who is a traitor to the earth, to the fire elves. You know what happens when the dragon attacks Callus? What happens when Virum comes back alive, thanks to Claudia and her dark magic? But he swears off magic. He's no longer doing dark magic. He was the puppet for quite some time, but he chose to do a lot of terrible things. We get an origin where why he started the dark magic, how he betrayed the family, in order to save Soren, but then he was blaming Soren for the mom leaving, etc., etc. His redemption arc, was it really an redemption arc, or was it a means of atonement? Because he did horrible, terrible things to numerous people, human and elf alike, and creature alike. He's the reason Ezra is currently king. You know, there's a lot of horrible things that Viren did that you can't forgive him for. So it's a matter of how can he atone for his past, for the present moment, to then give a better future for Callus. So what happens then when Soren begs him to take up the dark magic again, to defeat the dragon, to make sure that all of the folk in the kingdom are okay, that they can evacuate? What happens with Queen Sarai and General Amaya's wedding? It's episode's entitled "The Red Wedding," and we know flashbacks of Game of Thrones is calling a red wedding. It's like, oh, this is not going to be good for the mind, good for the mental health. But it was a twist of it, because when the dragon is thinking to be attacking, he's not, because he's off doing his other stuff. What happens with Soren and Zim and the other Kingsguard in the beginning, trying to find Zim's mom? Where has she been this whole time? Well, she's been healing in a mushroom kingdom. There's so much stuff that happens throughout this, and just the Virum sacrificing himself, doing the spell on himself to then save everybody, really got me. That's character development. That is a prime example of correct writing. Prime example. Prime example of correct writing. Then at the end of Rayla trying to figure out what parent to save in the spirit realm with her coins and the diamonds that she got. What happens with now the kingdom after Ezra gets the message at his aunt Amaya's marriage with Sarai, now that they're the two queens of the fire elves? What happens when he gets the message? Does everybody go back to then help save everybody? What happens? There's a lot of what ifs. But the proper means of storytelling is this show is a great example of a proper means of storytelling. Character development all around, and a absolute perfect representation, which is extremely hard to do. Not every dark starts dark, and not every light starts light. There is darkness within light, and there's light within the darkness. Yin to the yang. And I'm not surprised that this show is capable of doing that, because Avatar did that and Legend of Korra did that. So because it's majority of the same people that made those projects, moving on to this project, I had no concerns that they would be able to translate those kind of life lessons accordingly. Prime perfect example: light within the dark and dark within the light. Viren is trying to atone for all of the terrible dark magic things that he did by means of sacrifice to save everybody else in the kingdom. Is that enough for the atonement? Ish. He realizes his bad ways. He wants to do better. How can he do better? How can he help? How can he serve? Literally crying on his knees, screaming at the sky, I am a servant, I am a servant. You can't, I was going to say you can't write better storytelling, but that was the point. These writers made incredible stories for this telling. Gorgeous. I'm very excited to see what happens next. I'm very heartbroken that what happens next is the end, because season 7, book 7 is the end. But I understand why book 6 is called Stars. It was all about getting to the Star Elves. It was a means of, part of it, most of it was a means of getting to the Star Elves. What happens next? Can you bring everybody back who has been banished to those coins? Things, right? What happens now that Arvos is alive and well, thanks to Claudia being tricked yet again? But then also, on hindsight, she chose to do all of this. Life's all about choices as well. It's just a whirlwind, wild adventure of a show. Gorgeous animation, gorgeous storytelling, gorgeous cinematography, gorgeous score, lighting, coloring, everything. Gorgeous. Book 6, Stars, Dragon Prince, Mystery of Arvos. On to the next review. Mahalo.